Right. So today, we're going deep on Alex Hormozi.
Yeah, the guy who went from sleeping on a gym floor
Yeah.
to like a multi-million-dollar business empire.
It's pretty wild.
It is.
And we've got this awesome interview of his to break down, where
Ah,
he like really pulls back the curtain on how he built everything.
it's. I think there's going to be a lot of good stuff to unpack.
Absolutely. I think people are going to want to be taking notes on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
What I found so compelling about Hormozi's story, right,
Okay.
is that he's like super open about the struggles, the challenges, the setbacks, like all the times he doubted himself,
Yeah, he's not.
which I think makes it that much more,
He doesn't sugarcoat it.
right?
He doesn't try to like pretend it was this easy path, like a lot of people do.
Which makes it, I think, even more inspiring.
It makes it more relatable too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not just some like get rich quick thing.
Yeah.
He's giving you the real deal.
The nitty gritty.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it valuable.
Exactly. All right, so let's go back to the beginning, like
Yeah.
the early days.
Yeah.
So Hormozi is like working this cushy corporate job.
Yeah. That a lot of people would be like,
Right.
oh man, I wish I had that job.
Like, sign me up.
Comfortable,
Yeah.
stable.
He was totally miserable.
It's such a good illustration
Yeah.
that like sometimes that safe path, the thing that looks good on paper
Right.
can actually be like the most soul crushing.
Totally.
Like he even said that like he would wake up every day hoping he wouldn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how much he hated it.
Talk about a wake-up call, right?
It is. It's huge.
I mean, do you think that kind of desperation, though,
Oh, absolutely.
can be like a powerful motivator?
Yeah.
Almost more so than like having some super clear vision of what you want to do.
For sure.
Like when you're that miserable,
Well, absolutely.
you're
yeah.
going to do anything to get out of it.
You see that theme throughout his story too, right? Like it wasn't some like grand vision of being an entrepreneur.
Right.
It was the pain of staying stuck
Oh, yeah.
in a life that like just felt completely wrong.
I love that. All right. So,
That's really powerful.
so he finally decides, okay,
Yeah.
I'm quitting this job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to open a gym.
Bold move.
Right. I mean, not the easiest business in the world.
What?
But here's the thing.
Here's the kicker.
His dad's totally against it.
Total.
And it, like, really caused a rift in their relationship.
Yeah, this is where I think things get super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like he talks about how he essentially had to like accept that he was going to be dead in his father's eyes
Wow.
to pursue his dream.
That's powerful.
It's about like choosing your own path,
Mm-hmm.
even when it means going against like what everyone expects of you.
It's like those expectations, societal or family or whatever, can be so heavy.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that pull
Oh, totally.
between like what you're supposed to do
It's a constant tension, I think,
Yeah.
for a lot of us.
and what you actually want to do?
Absolutely.
And it's hard to break free from that.
Yeah. And it really highlights the courage
Yeah.
to kind of just say, like,
Yeah.
forget it. I'm going my own way.
Yeah. This is my life.
And for him, that path, it led him to entrepreneurship,
Mm.
which was,
Not exactly a walk in the park.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the early years of his journey are like a roller coaster.
Total roller coaster.
Ups and downs, right?
Financial setbacks.
Financial setbacks, partnership troubles,
Partnership troubles. Oh, yeah.
all of it.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah. But there's this one constant
Mm-hmm.
through it all.
Yeah.
His wife, Lelia.
His wife, Lelia, yeah. She's amazing.
She is.
Like, her belief in him
Mhm.
is such a testament to the power of, like, partnership. And she doesn't just, like, support him emotionally.
Oh.
She was actively involved in the business.
Yeah, she was in the trenches with him.
Yeah, pushing him to keep going.
Mm.
Remember that story about her saying she'd sleep under a bridge with him?
Yeah. Like if that's what it takes,
Yeah,
that's commitment.
it's
Relationship goals right there.
for sure.
It makes you realize like having the right people in your corner
Yeah, it makes all the difference.
makes all the difference, especially when you're tackling something like
yeah,
building a business from scratch.
it's huge.
Yeah.
It's about having someone who not only believes in, like, your vision,
Yeah.
but believes in you
Yes.
and your ability to achieve it.
I love that.
It's about having that rock-solid support system,
Okay.
you know, to weather the storms.
So how did he actually start turning things around?
Yeah,
Like going from sleeping on a gym floor to building this empire?
right.
That's a pretty big leap.
Well, that's where his business savvy really comes in.
Okay.
So he talks a lot about crafting what he calls irresistible offers.
Okay.
And he describes them as like the terms of exchange.
Okay. Yeah.
That determine whether like a customer picks you or someone else.
I mean, that sounds simple enough.
Yeah.
But I bet there's more to it than like...
Well, I mean CI. It's a whole framework.
Okay.
He actually breaks it down into 4 key elements.
All right. Lay it on me.
So the first one is you need to increase the perceived likelihood of achievement. And so like think of it as painting a really vivid picture of the desired outcome and making the customer believe they can actually get there.
Okay, so you're building that confidence.
Building confidence, building trust.
You're like showing them that it's actually attainable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What's next? All right, the second one is you need to minimize the time delay.
Okay.
So the faster they can get the results they want, the more valuable your offer becomes.
Right, like instant gratification is always going to be more appealing than...
Yeah, who wants to wait?
Right, nobody wants to wait.
Nobody.
Okay, so that makes sense. What else?
All right, number 3 is speed of achievement.
Okay.
So you need to highlight how quickly they can achieve those results once they like start using your product or your service.
I got it. So it's like showcasing those quick wins to prove it actually delivers fast.
Exactly.
What about the last one?
Okay, last one is you need to minimize the effort and sacrifice required. Right? So the easier you make it for the customer to get what they want, the better your offer is going to be.
Right, because people always want the path of least resistance.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to do more work than they have to.
And this is where he brings up that like amazing example of the limited edition Harry Potter books.
Yeah, the limited edition Harry Potter books.
Which, I mean...
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Because they fly off the shelves. Right. Not because the content is different.
Right, it's the same book.
It's the same book.
Just a different cover, yeah.
But it's because of that scarcity and urgency.
Right, Elmo. It's fear of missing out.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, people are willing to pay a premium for something that feels exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's been a victim of that at some point.
Totally.
Or beneficiary, I guess.
That's right.
If you're selling it. Okay, so how did he actually put these principles to work in his business?
So he had this major aha moment when he shifted his business model from owning a bunch of gyms to licensing his system. So instead of trying to manage like all the complexities of running multiple gyms, he focused on packaging his knowledge and expertise into a system others could replicate.
So he's not just selling gym memberships anymore.
Right.
He's selling a system.
He's selling a proven system for success.
Oh, that's smart.
It was a game changer for him. I mean, it was like he realized that the real value he was offering wasn't the gym itself.
Right.
It was the knowledge, the expertise that allowed others to get those same results.
Yeah, and that's such a valuable lesson, I think, for anyone.
Yeah.
Building a business or even just, you know, in their careers. Sometimes the most valuable thing you have is like the knowledge in your head.
It's true.
Okay, so he's got this irresistible offer.
Yeah.
But how does he go from like running one gym to building this empire?
That's a good question.
What was the key to that kind of growth?
Well, that, I think, is where the concept of skill stacking comes in.
Okay.
And I think this is going to be something super valuable for you.
All right, I'm all ears.
As you think about your own career.
Give me the rundown.
Okay, so imagine your skills are like tools in a tool belt.
Got it.
Right.
Right.
So each new skill you add not only makes you more versatile, but it can actually increase the value of your existing skills. So take like writing, for example.
Okay.
You might be a great writer.
Yeah.
But if you add marketing skills to your tool belt, now you can promote your writing to a wider audience.
Yeah.
You can reach more people.
Yeah.
You can make more money, potentially.
Okay, so it's not just about learning new things.
Right.
It's about learning the right things.
Yeah.
Like strategically acquiring those skills that
complement and enhance your existing expertise.
Enhance and, build on each other.
Absolutely.
That's super interesting. Okay, and then he takes a step further.
Yeah.
And he talks about, like, finding the right market for your skill set.
The right market, yeah.
So it's not just about being good at something.
Exactly.
It's about being good at something that's in demand.
Right.
Where people are willing to pay for it.
Where it's valued.
So, like, I don't know, a chef who's a mate, but they're in some tiny town.
Yeah.
With like 2 restaurants.
Right.
Their skills aren't going to be as valuable as if they were in like
in New York City.
New York or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. He tells this great story about a father and son selling a car. And they go to like all these different places to sell it.
Yeah, they get totally different offers.
Totally different offers.
Right, depending on who they're talking to.
So they talk to like a car enthusiast who's willing to pay a premium.
Right.
Then they go to a used car dealer.
Right, who just wants to...
Yeah, who just wants to resell it.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah. So the car hasn't changed, but its perceived value changes dramatically, depending on who's looking at it.
So it's not just what you're selling, but who you're selling it to.
Who values it.
Who values it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, like...
What about you?
Yeah, am I playing in the right league? Is there like a different market or different audience where like what I do would be even more valued?
Is there a place where your talents would shine even brighter?
Yeah. I mean, that's
a good question.
It is. It's
like a good question.
It's something I'm going to have to think about.
Yeah. Worth pondering for sure.
Okay, but let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about another one of his like key concepts.
All right.
Which is leverage.
Leverage.
Like he is all about maximizing different types of leverage to achieve like exponential growth.
It's like physics almost.
Yeah, well, it kind of is, right?
Yeah, if you think about it.
It's like it's a force multiplier.
It is. It's like amplifying your effort to get like a much bigger result.
Okay.
And he actually breaks it down into 4 main types, which are labor, media, capital, and technology.
All right, let's break those down. So what's the deal with labor leverage?
Okay. Labor leverage is all about moving from working on your business to working on your business.
Okay, and what does that actually look like?
So think about it this way. Like you start off doing everything yourself, right? You're trading your time for money.
Okay, and like... I don't know.
It's like the lowest level.
Like a freelancer.
Like freelancer.
Yeah, like a freelancer.
Like solopreneur.
Solopreneur who's wearing all the hats.
Making all the things.
Doing all the things.
Yeah.
But then, as you grow, you start to delegate. Right. You start to hire people. You build a team. And so now you're leveraging other people's time and skills to multiply your output.
It's not just you hustling 24/7 anymore.
No, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
You've got a team working towards that shared goal.
And that frees you up to, like, actually be strategic, right?
Absolutely. It frees you up to, like...
to focus on those big picture things.
Work on the business, not in it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just one type of leverage.
Right. So what's next?
All right. So we've got media leverage.
Okay.
Think about someone like Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Right? Huge podcast, millions of followers, able to like reach this massive audience, amplify his message.
Well, like way beyond. Yeah. Way beyond.
What he could do one-on-one.
Yeah, it's like using a megaphone, right?
Totally.
Instead of like...
whispering in a corner.
Whispering, exactly.
Okay, all right, so that's media leverage. What about capital leverage?
Okay, capital leverage is... using other people's money to fuel your growth. Think about companies like Facebook or Amazon. Like they didn't start with billions of dollars, right?
No.
They leveraged venture capital. They leveraged investments to like scale their businesses way faster.
Much faster than they could have on their own.
Absolutely.
So it's like finding those investors who believe in what you're doing.
Who believe in you, who believe in your vision, and are willing to like put their money behind it.
Almost like a partner in a way.
A financial partner. Yeah. Totally.
Okay.
And then the last one is technology leverage.
Okay.
This one's all about using technology to like automate processes, increase efficiency, scale your impact. Like think about companies like Google or Microsoft.
Right.
Like they've built these incredibly powerful platforms that reach like billions of people.
It's like having an army of robots working for you 24/7.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing what you can accomplish.
Absolutely. It's crazy.
Yeah, when you use technology the right way.
It really is. So, I mean, we've covered a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of ground.
We talked about like creating irresistible offers, skill stacking, finding the right market, maximizing leverage.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to process. But there's one more piece of the puzzle that we haven't really touched on yet. Okay, I'm intrigued.
And it might be, the most important one.
Okay, lay it on me.
Okay. So Hormozi talks about what he calls the cost of information. And he says, the most expensive thing we pay for is the information we don't know.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
What does he actually mean by that?
So think about it this way.
Right.
If you're not aware of a certain strategy or a tool or a market opportunity, you're essentially leaving money on the table.
Right.
You're operating with a limited amount of knowledge, which could be holding you back.
It's like trying to navigate a maze in the dark.
It is, exactly.
You're going to hit a lot of walls.
Yeah.
You might eventually get there.
You'll get there eventually.
But it's going to take you so much longer.
It's going to be a lot harder. Yeah. And this is where learning from people like Hormozi becomes so valuable.
Right, because he's sharing his insights, his experiences, his failures.
Yeah.
So we can learn from them.
And avoid making those same mistakes.
It's like having a mentor.
It is.
Who's already been there and done that and is showing you their map.
Yeah. And this is what he talks about a lot with skill stacking.
Yeah.
It's a journey of continuous learning and growth.
Okay.
It's like a video game, right?
Okay. I like that analogy.
Where you're constantly leveling up, acquiring new skills.
Yeah.
Making your existing abilities even more powerful.
So it's not about adding skills just randomly.
No, it's got to be strategic.
It's about intentionally picking those that
complement each other.
Yeah, it's like building a well-rounded team.
Yes, exactly.
But instead of people, it's your skills.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, I like that. He uses the example of Jay-Z, right?
Yeah.
Who went from being a really talented rapper to building this whole music empire.
To Noggle status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did that by
stacking those skills.
Stacking skills.
Yeah, marketing, promotion, talent management.
Yeah, all on top of
on top of his musical abilities.
Yeah, the music. So he realized
he understood
to really succeed.
Yeah.
He had to be more than just a musician.
More than just a rapper, he had to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, such a good example.
It is.
Of how skills that seem totally unrelated can actually work together.
To create something really powerful.
Yeah, it's about seeing that big picture.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about value creation, finding the right market, leveraging resources, skill stacking, continuous learning. We've covered a lot.
A lot of ground.
But what about happiness?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is all this worth it if you're not happy? All the hustle, the ambition.
Right, because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, he actually has a pretty simple definition of happiness.
Okay.
He says it's doing what you like with people you like as much as you can.
I love that.
It's pretty straightforward.
It's not tied to achievements or material possessions. It's about
the process, the people, the freedom.
The journey, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where, we see a really interesting part of Hormozi's personality.
Okay, tell me about it.
Right, because he's got this, drive, this ambition. He's an entrepreneur, but he also finds, this deep connection to writing.
Yeah, it's almost counterintuitive.
It is.
Right.
You wouldn't necessarily expect that.
You wouldn't think that those two
yeah.
would go together.
Yeah, you'd think he'd just want to be out there like hustling all the time.
Totally.
But it really just shows the importance of balance.
It does.
Right. Even like the most driven people
yeah.
need an outlet for like creativity, reflection.
Those introspective moments.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you're just like, oh, Christine, out.
Yeah, you're going to burn out.
You got to have something
yeah.
to nourish your soul.
Yeah, like what lights you up? Right? Like what reminds you why you're doing all this in the first place.
And for him, writing's that thing.
Yeah.
Like he talks about how it allows him to like process his emotions, connect with his inner self, like make sense of everything.
Okay.
So it's a good reminder, right, that happiness can come from like the most unexpected sources.
It doesn't have to fit some like neat little box.
No, and it doesn't even have to like fit with your dominant personality traits necessarily.
It's what it's about embracing, like the full
spectrum of who you are.
Yeah, all the different pieces.
Yeah, the drive, the ambition,
the introspection, the vulnerability.
Yeah, finding that balance.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we've covered a lot
Yeah.
in our exploration of like Hormozi's journey and his philosophy. We talked about his business strategies, his personal insights, you know, his definition of success, even his approach to happiness. It's been
it has been a fascinating ride.
Pretty fascinating. But there's one more crucial aspect of his story that I think we should really dig into.
Okay, I'm listening.
And it's his perspective on failure.
Okay, yeah, that's huge.
I mean, it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So to hear his take on it, I think is going to be super valuable.
All right, let's talk about failure. Because, I mean, most people see it as something to be avoided, right?
Totally.
Like it's a sign of weakness.
Like you messed up, you're not good enough.
Yeah, it's like this negative thing.
But Hormozi, he like flips the script.
Totally.
He embraces it.
He does.
And he even has this like thought-provoking question that he likes to ask his guests. He's like, what are the failures you cherish the most?
Oh, wow.
Such a good question.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like forcing you to look at it differently.
Reframing it.
Yeah, instead of seeing it as this bad thing.
Yeah.
You're actually looking for the value in it.
Like failure's not the enemy, it's a teacher.
I love that. Okay, so he actually shares 2 of his own, like, cherished failures.
Yeah, 2 of them.
And the first one might surprise you.
It might.
It's that corporate job.
Yeah.
The one that he hated so much.
The one that he was so miserable in.
Yeah, the one that made him, like, not want to wake up in the morning. How could he possibly cherish that?
Because it was, like, the catalyst for change. Like, the pain of staying stuck was so intense that it finally, like, forced him to take action.
Right. It was the push he needed.
It was, like, negative motivation, right? It was like, I gotta get out of this.
So it was, like, a gift, in a way.
It was a gift, a wake-up call.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. What about the second one?
Okay, the second one's a little more personal.
Okay.
It involves a really tough period in his relationship with Lelia, where they were facing like a ton of financial pressure and uncertainty.
I mean, that's got to be hard.
Oh, incredibly challenging.
Yeah, to go through that with your partner.
It's like one of the biggest tests. But he says he wouldn't trade it for anything.
Really?
Because they like had to rely on each other so much and support each other. And ultimately, they came out stronger.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. It's like, it's proof that
going through tough times together can really bond you.
Yeah, it could either make or break you, right? But in their case, it was like...
It solidified it.
Yeah, it made them even stronger. Yeah. There's actually this really powerful story he tells.
Oh, yeah,
about this time when he was feeling really down.
Yeah, he was struggling.
Super discouraged.
Like, financially. And he basically, like, pushed Lelia away and was like, you should leave me. Nah. I'm a sinking ship.
Oh, man.
It's heartbreaking. Like, you can just feel, like, how low he was feeling in that moment.
Yeah, like, just worthless. Like,
totally worthless.
I'm bringing you down.
Yeah.
You should just go. What does she do?
So instead of walking away,
yeah,
she doubled down on her belief in him.
Oh, wow.
She went out and set an all-time sales record for their business.
What?
Proving that she wasn't going anywhere.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk about, like, a power move.
It is. It's a power move.
And also just, like...
But it's, like, love, too.
So much love.
Yeah, it's a demonstration of love and support.
Yeah, it's like, I believe in you even when you don't.
It's like, I got you no matter what.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder.
It is.
That we all need those people in our lives, right? Who see our potential, even when we're blind to it.
Absolutely. Okay, so what does all this mean for us?
Yeah.
For the listeners?
Right, like what are the takeaways?
What can we actually learn from all of this?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's a call to action to embrace failure as part of the journey.
Not something to be scared of.
Yeah, to shift our mindset from, like, failure is a setback to failure is an opportunity.
Okay.
Right? Like an opportunity for growth, for learning.
It's a lesson.
It's a lesson, exactly.
It's not the end of the world.
It's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
It's about, like, developing that resilience, the grit, the ability to, like, bounce back.
Keep going.
Yeah. And I think the second big takeaway is we need to surround ourselves with people who believe in us, support us, and challenge us to, like, be our best selves.
To level up.
Absolutely, to level up. Find your Lelia.
Yeah, find those people who, like, see your potential even when you don't.
And then finally, I think it's an invitation to like reframe our definition of success. It's not just about like achieving those specific outcomes.
Right.
It's about like becoming the best version of ourselves.
So it's a more holistic view.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about his journey, his strategies, his philosophy, his view on failure. But like at the end of the day, where does he land on happiness?
Well, he actually has a pretty simple definition of happiness.
Okay, I'm curious.
He says it's doing what you like with people you like as much as you can.
I love that. It's like
so straightforward.
Yeah, it's not tied to achievements or material things.
Nope. It's about the people, the freedom, the things you enjoy.
The journey, yeah.
Yeah. And this is where we see like a really interesting contrast in his personality.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because he's this driven, ambitious...
entrepreneur.
Yeah, entrepreneur.
But he also like finds this deep connection to writing. Which seems...
It's almost counterintuitive, right? It is, like, you wouldn't necessarily expect that.
No, you wouldn't think those two things would go together.
You'd think he'd just want to be out there, like, hustling all the time.
Crushing it, yeah.
Yeah.
But it just highlights, like, the importance of balance.
Right, he does.
Even the most driven people.
Yeah, need an outlet for creativity, for reflection.
Yeah, you need those, like...
those introspective moments.
Those quiet moments.
Yeah, otherwise you just become a machine.
Yeah, you burn out.
You gotta have something to nourish your soul, too, like...
Yeah, what makes you feel alive.
Yes, exactly. Like, what brings you joy? What reminds you, like, why you're doing all of this in the first place.
Yeah.
And for him, writing's that thing.
Okay.
Like, he talks about how it allows him to process his emotions, connect with himself, like, make sense of everything.
Okay.
It's a good reminder, right? That, like, happiness can come from the most unexpected places.
Yeah, it doesn't have to fit. Like,
it doesn't have to fit
a certain mold.
No, and it doesn't even have to like necessarily fit with your dominant personality traits.
It's about embracing the full spectrum.
Yeah, all those different parts.
All the different pieces that make you who you are.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Right. We talked about Hormozi's journey, his strategies, his personal philosophy, even his approach to happiness.
Yeah, it's been a pretty amazing journey.
It has been a fascinating journey, but there's one more crucial aspect of his story that I think we need to dive into.
All right, I'm listening.
And that is his perspective on failure.
Okay, yeah, that's a big one.
It's something I think a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So to hear his take on it, I think is going to be really valuable for the listeners.
All right, let's talk failure. Because, I mean, for most people, failure is something to be avoided, right?
Totally.
It's this sign of weakness. You messed up.
Like you're not good enough.
Yeah, it has such a negative connotation.
But Hormozi, he kind of flips the script on that.
He does. He really does.
He embraces it. And he even has this thought-provoking question that he asks a lot of his guests. He's like, what are the failures you cherish the most?
Oh, wow. That's such an interesting question.
It's a really good question because it makes you look at it differently, right?
It does. It forces you to reframe your whole perspective.
Yeah, instead of seeing it as this, like, bad thing, you're actually looking for the value.
Yeah.
The lessons learned.
Yeah.
The growth that came from it.
It's like failure is not the enemy. It's a teacher.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a good one. So he actually shares 2 of his own cherished failures.
He does. He shares 2 of them.
And the first one might surprise you. It's that corporate job.
Yeah.
We were talking about earlier.
The one that he hated so much.
The one he was so miserable in.
Yes.
The one where he didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning.
It's wild to think that he would actually cherish that experience.
Right.
But he does. He cherishes it because it was, like, the catalyst for change in his life.
Okay, yeah, it was like the ultimate push.
It was the ultimate push.
He had to get out of there.
The pain of staying stuck was so intense that it, like, finally forced him to take action.
He was like, I can't do this anymore.
Exactly.
So it was negative motivation.
It was negative motivation.
But it worked.
But it worked.
Yeah. So it was a gift in a way.
It was a gift, a wake-up call, you know?
Yeah. What about the second one?
Okay, so the second one is a little bit more personal.
Okay.
It involves a really challenging time in his relationship with Lelia, where they were facing a ton of financial pressure and uncertainty.
I mean, that's got to be so tough to go through with your partner.
Oh, incredibly challenging. It's one of the biggest tests you can face in a relationship, I think.
Yeah.
But he says he wouldn't trade those experiences for anything.
Wow.
Yeah, because they had to like rely on each other so much and support each other.
To get through it.
Yeah, and ultimately they came out stronger on the other side.
I love that. It really speaks to the power of partnership, you know?
It does.
Like going through those tough times together can either make you or break you.
It can.
And for them, it sounds like
it solidified them.
Yeah, it solidified their bond.
Absolutely.
It made them even stronger. He tells this really powerful story.
Oh, yeah.
About this time when he was like at his lowest point.
Super discouraged, yeah.
He was really struggling financially.
Yeah.
And basically told Lilia to leave.
He basically pushed her away.
Yeah.
And was like, you should leave. I'm a sinking ship.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking just to hear him describe that moment.
Yeah, like the despair.
Yeah.
The feeling of like
worthlessness.
Yeah, like, I'm just bringing you down.
Totally.
You should just cut your losses and go.
And you know what she did?
What did she do?
She doubled down on her belief in him.
Oh, wow.
She went out and set an all-time sales record for their business.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. What a power move.
It is.
And just like so much love.
It's both, right?
Yeah.
It's love and it's power.
Yeah.
It's this like incredible demonstration of,
yeah, I believe in you.
Yeah, I believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. And I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's powerful. It's like, it makes me think about the people in my life, right? Like, do I have those people?
The people who see your potential even when you don't.
Yeah.
Those are the people you need to hold on to.
Absolutely. Okay, so we talked about his journey. We talked about his strategies.
Yeah.
His philosophy.
His view on failure.
Yeah, but where does he land on, like, the big question? Happiness.
He actually has a pretty simple definition of happiness.
I'm curious to hear it.
He says doing what you like with people you like as much as you can.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so straightforward.
Yeah, and it's not tied to like achievements or material things.
No, it's about the process, the people, the freedom.
The journey, yeah.
Journey.
Okay, and this is where we see like a really interesting part of his personality.
Okay, what's that?
Because he's like so driven, so ambitious. He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But he also finds this deep connection to writing.
Yeah, it's almost counterintuitive, right?
It is. You wouldn't necessarily expect that.
You wouldn't think those two things would go together.
No, you'd think you just want to be out there like hustling all the time.
Crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really highlights like the importance of balance.
The importance of balance.
Even like the most driven people.
Yeah, you got to have an outlet.
Need something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just a machine and you burn out. Gonna burn out for sure.
You got to have something that nourishes your soul.
Like what makes you feel alive.
Absolutely. Like what brings you joy? What reminds you like why you're doing this in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for him, writing is that thing.
Okay.
He talks about how it allows him to like process his emotions, connect with himself, like make sense of the world.
Okay.
And so it's a good reminder, right? That like happiness can come from the most unexpected place.
Yeah, it doesn't have to fit into this. Like
it doesn't have to fit
the neat little box that we've created in our mind.
Exactly, this perfect little box. And it doesn't even have to like necessarily fit with like your dominant personality traits.
Right. So it's about embracing the full spectrum of who you are.
All those different pieces that make you you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we've covered a lot of ground. Exploring like Hormozi's journey and his philosophy, his business strategies, his personal insights, his definition of success, his approach to happiness. It's been
an amazing journey. I feel like we've learned a lot.
It really has.
But there's one more crucial aspect of his story that we need to really unpack.
Yeah, his perspective on failure.
Failure.
Which is something that I think so many people struggle with.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So to hear his take on it, I think is going to be super valuable for everyone listening.
Okay, so let's dive into failure. Because, I mean, for most people, failure is something to be avoided at all costs.
Totally.
It's like a sign of weakness.
Like you messed up.
Yeah.
You're not good enough.
Yeah, it's got this negative connotation.
Big time.
But Hormozi, he kind of flips the script. He does. He really does.
He embraces it. He even asks this really thought-provoking question to all his guests.
Okay.
He's like, what are the failures you cherish most?
Oh, wow. That's such a good question.
It is, because it makes you think about it differently, right?
It does. You're forced to, like, reframe your whole perspective.
Exactly. Instead of seeing it as this, like, bad thing, you're looking for the value.
The growth.
The growth, the lessons learned.
It's like failure's not the enemy.
Right.
It's the teacher.
I love that. So he actually shares 2 of his own cherished failures.
Okay.
And the first one might surprise you. It's that corporate job.
Yeah, the one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the one that he hated so much.
Yeah, where he didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning.
Exactly.
It's wild to think that he would cherish that.
It is, but he does. Because it was, like, the catalyst for change in his life.
Okay, yeah, it was the ultimate push.
It was the ultimate push.
Like, he had to get out of there.
Had to get out of there.
Yeah.
The pain of staying stuck was so intense
Yeah.
that it forced him to take action.
It was like, yeah, negative motivation, but it worked.
But it worked.
Yeah, it got him where he needed to be.
It did. So in a way, it was a gift.
It was a gift, a wake-up call.
A wake-up call.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, what about the second failure that he cherishes?
Okay. So the second one is a bit more personal.
Okay.
It involves a really challenging time in his relationship with Lelia, where they were facing, like, immense financial pressure and uncertainty.
I mean, that's got to be so tough to go through as a couple.
Incredibly challenging.
Right.
One of the biggest tests you can face in a relationship, but he says he wouldn't trade those experiences for anything because they had to, like, really rely on each other and support each other.
To get through it.
To get through it. And ultimately, they came out stronger on the other side.
I love that. It speaks to the power of partnership, you know?
Yeah,
like, going through those really tough times can either make or break you.
It can. And for them, it sounds like
it
just solidified their bond.
It made them even stronger.
It made them even stronger. And there's this really powerful story that he tells.
Oh, yeah.
About, like, when he was at his lowest point, super discouraged, really struggling financially, and basically told Lelia to leave. He was like, you should just go. I'm a sinking ship.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking to hear him.
Yeah, the despair.
Yeah.
Like, you could just feel how low he was feeling in that moment.
Worthless. It's like, I'm just bringing you down.
Yeah.
You should just cut your losses and go. And you know what she did?
What did she do?
Instead of walking away, she doubled down on her belief in him.
Oh, wow.
And she went out and set an all-time sales record for their business.
Wow, that's amazing. What a power move.
It is.
But also just, like,
it's love, too.
So much love.
It's this incredible demonstration of love and support.
Yeah, it's like, I believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself.
I got you, no matter what.
That's powerful. It makes me think about the people in my own life, you know?
Yeah, who are those people for you?
Yeah. Like, do I have those people?
Who see your potential even when you don't.
Yeah. Those are the people we need to hold on to.
Absolutely. Okay, so you talked about his journey, his strategies, his philosophy, his view on failure. But where does he actually land on that big question?
Yeah, the big question.
Happiness.
Happiness, yeah.
Well, he actually has a pretty simple definition of happiness.
I'm curious to hear it.
He says, doing what you like with people you like as much as you can.
I love that. It's so straightforward.
It is. And it's not tied to, like,
no
achievements or material things.
No.
It's about
the people, the freedom, the things you enjoy.
The journey.
The journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where I think we see a really interesting contrast in his personality.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because he's this driven, ambitious entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But he also finds this, like, really deep connection.
Yeah, to writing.
To writing.
Yeah.
Which is almost counterintuitive, right?
It is. You wouldn't necessarily expect that.
You wouldn't think those two things would go together.
No, you'd think he just wants to be out there, like, hustling all the time.
Crushing it.
Crushing it, yeah.
Yeah.
But it really highlights the importance of balance.
The importance of balance.
Yeah. Even the most driven people.
Yeah. You got to have an outlet.
Yeah, you need something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just a machine and...
You burn out.
Yeah.
You got to have something to nourish your soul.
What makes you feel alive, right? Yes, exactly. What brings you joy? What reminds you of, like, why you're doing this in the first place?
Yeah.
And for him, writing is that thing.
Yeah.
He talks about how it allows him to process his emotions, connect with himself, make sense of the world.
Right.
And so it's a good reminder, right? That happiness can come from the most unexpected places.
Yeah. It doesn't have to fit into, like,
It doesn't have to fit into this...
A neat little box that we create in our mind.
This perfect little box, yeah. And it doesn't even have to necessarily fit with, like, your dominant personality traits.
So it's about embracing the full spectrum.
The full spectrum.
Of who you are.
Yeah. All those different pieces that make you, you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so what does all this mean for us?
Yeah, what does this mean for the listeners?
Right, like what are the takeaways?
Yeah, what can people actually do with this information?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's a call to action to embrace failure as part of the journey, to shift our mindset.
Yeah.
From failure is a setback to failure as an opportunity.
Okay.
Right, an opportunity for growth, for learning.
It's a lesson. It's not the end of the world.
It's a lesson, a stepping stone. It's about developing that resilience.
That grit.
Yeah, that grit, that ability to bounce back.
Keep going.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And I think the second big takeaway is that we really need to surround ourselves with people.
The right people.
Yeah, people who believe in us.
Support us,
challenge us to be better.
Yeah, to level up.
Level up. Find your Lelia.
Yeah. Those people who see our potential even when we can't see it ourselves.
And then finally, I think it's an invitation to reframe our definition of success. It's not just about achieving specific outcomes. It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah, it's a more holistic view.
It's about, like, embracing the challenges, learning from every experience.
Both the good and the bad.
The good and the bad, exactly.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Alex Hormozi, I think the biggest question he leaves us with is, what is that one piece of knowledge or information that could unlock a new level of success in your life right now?
Oh, that's a good one.
And what would it take to acquire it?
So it's about identifying those knowledge gaps that might be holding you back and then figuring out how to fill them.
Yeah, it's recognizing that learning is a lifelong journey.
Absolutely.
And there's always more to learn.
Yeah, and on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Alex Hormozi's world.
We covered a lot.
We covered his entrepreneurial journey, his business strategies, his personal philosophy, his unique perspective on failure.
His definition of happiness.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing exploration, and hopefully you've gleaned some valuable insights.
Yeah, things you can actually apply to your own life.
Apply them to your own life.
And career.
And keep pushing forward.
Yeah, and remember, the journey doesn't end here.
It doesn't. It's up to you now to take these insights and use them to create a life that truly feels fulfilling and meaningful.